Well, Elon Musk's role at Doge is sparking anger at Tesla, causing protests and giving some potential buyers pause. But not our next guest. Joining us is Wall Street Journal auto columnist Dan Neal, who wrote about his purchase of a Tesla in his most recent column. Dan, we really enjoyed reading the column. And to be fair, your timing of buying the Tesla was a little before Inauguration Day and Musk sort of taking the sledgehammer to the federal government. But how did you weigh his persona and the image of the brand versus the practicalities of why one buys a car?
Yeah, well, one of the things that that surprised me as I reflected on the situation is how fast this moved and how fast the brand was. Well, I think it's turned upside down really for American buyers, Western audiences. With regard to the German public, I think at one point someone did a survey of 100,000 Germans. 93% said they would never buy a Tesla again. Now those are peaky kind of numbers, but yeah, I mean, and before this, I wasn't really following Elon. I mean, 6 months ago, I wasn't following Elon's X or whatever, Twitter, because I was so checked out of social media and glad of it. I didn't really care what he said. And the worst thing I could say about him, I didn't like the way he treated what's his girlfriend? I love her album.
Grimes.
Yes, exactly. Grimes, I thought he treated Grimes badly, but then his grievances started to turn against the world. In any event, the thing is that I haven't politicized. I'm not politicizing the brand. Elon has made the brand an electable political choice, a kind of a fork in the road for buyers, and a lot of buyers are not interested in carrying on. That's the other problem, is that once you buy a car, you're kind of, if not married to it, you're certainly got a long-term relationship, and it's hard to switch those things around. It's very expensive for a lot of people.
One thing, Dan, that caught my eye in your column, because listen, you are the car guy. You said that objectively speaking, that 2022 Model 3 you now own, you said it's a fantastic car. How come, Dan? Can you walk through what makes it fantastic?
Sure. Well, first of all, by the time 22 came around, they had really sorted out the battery situation in this. But they didn't. It wasn't 4680 batteries, but it was the last generation of the previous technology. They had also sort of run in a couple of generations of gigacasting. Gigacasting is a way you build a car out of big modular pieces, putting it together. When you bolt it together with the kind of micro precision that gigacasting affords, then you've got a real unit, and the thing is tough as nails. And of course, there's the overall balance. So the thing that Tesla, to its credit, always to its credit, the design weighed every gram and counted every kilogram. It was, and so it's a lighter, more efficient vehicle. Now, you talk about Germany, and of course they're having a fit in China as well. Elon's, mystique or lack thereof doesn't perhaps extend to those markets, but there is a lot of new, awesome Chinese competition, as good or better than a Tesla on a point-by-point basis, and tons cheaper. So so the handwriting's on the wall. I mean, Tesla's not going to compete on price against Chinese manufacturers for very long, and I think that this is I think it represents another. I think Elon's behavior is going to represent another headwind that's going to slow Tesla down in the Western markets.
Dan, I'm really curious what kind of feedback you got on that column, both supportive and not supportive on your decision to buy.
It was 50-50. Somebody accused me of doing a Dixie Chicks thing. That's what it was. I was kind of got both sides around up. But no, I mean, one thing you said, it was not without pause. I gave this a lot of thought. First of all, I thought, is it egocentric to think that I could make a difference? That is that not inflating my own sense of centrality in the world? Well, I was a little bit wrong about that, because these buyer boycotts, for the first time in my career as a journalist, I've seen a buyer boycott really bite, really make a difference, move the needle. And it also brings up the question of how CEOs behave overall. The worst thing, the worst thing you can say about Elon Musk as a CEO is that he's unpredictable. There is a certain lack of decorum and other sorts of things, but with a lack of predictability, that makes it hard. We also want to look at just how much power one person should wield in society. Again, he's an unprecedented case. The world's richest man, working with the world's most powerful man, and under a lot of things, doing a lot of things that he might have conflict of interest in. So anyway, you don't have to be political not to like that, or you don't have to be, I don't want people thinking I want to privatize the mail service.
So Dan, we've had financial analysts who cover Tesla, and they made the argument. I'm curious to run it past you. They put out there, maybe there could be actually, Dan, a backlash against the backlash. The idea being there could be out there a not insignificant number of Americans who are actually kind of appalled at what they're seeing, Dan, in terms of the vandalism, attacking Teslas, torching a supercharger station, and they decide, you know what, maybe I'll actually step in and support Musk and his company. What do you make of that possible argument?
I think it's mostly optics. I think the incidences of violent vandalism, more extreme in Germany, and certainly more extreme directed at the Berlin Gigafactory. Holy mackerel. These people got downright militant with the Gigafactory. And I think it's, remember, they're talking about millions of cars and hundreds of millions of people over, months and years. So the behavior is, I don't think there'll be a backlash. Here's a positive. How about this? I bought an electric car, and I've always supported electrification, and I have a conservative case for electrification. That is self-reliance, that is independence, that is free of market influences, that is free of foreign influences as far as energy is concerned, a closed cycle that involves a house battery, a car, and a solar panel. That's the conservative argument for electrification. And by the way, the cars are way better. But besides that, that message might possibly leak through. But again, what Elon's doing, in terms of alienating people, it transcends politics and policy, I think. And as far as the damage to the brand, I think Camelot's pretty well over.
Yeah, and as many people have observed, the thesis that you were just talking about with electrification is one that would naturally appeal to liberals if he wasn't pushing them away. Dan, I think
of course, really, Emerson, Thoreau, the transcendentalists, everybody, there are people out living on, they want to be off-grid. This is off-grid. This is the only way. Let me put it this way. There's a lot of ways to make electricity, and there's only one way to make gasoline, and it's dirty. So, and Elon was there with he preached that message, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I mean, I spent a lot of money with this man.
Yeah.
I just wish he didn't make me so embarrassed now that I've got the T on the car.
Yeah, well, if nothing else, Dan, you have given us the first and only interview probably ever where we have talked about both Grimes and the Dixie Chicks. So we thank you for
and
that.
Emerson and Thoreau. Don't forget.
Thoreau. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.